What's your biggest fear? Is it insects? A fear of heights? Ghosts? Failure? Maybe something local, like the legend behind the infamous Moral Steps. Stick with us on this episode of Pete's Corner as we tackle everything that strikes a chill down your spine.
Hi everyone, and welcome to Pete's Corner. I'm your host, Savannah Goatcher, and on this Halloween episode, we're going to take a look at some different common fears that people at OSU might have. This first package might make you bug out, but stay with us.
Everyone in this world is afraid of something. When we're younger, our fears of the boogeyman and goblins changed into a fear of heights or a fear of spiders, but at some point, we eventually grew out of these fears. Unfortunately, some people never get over their fears, and it is at this point that a fear becomes a phobia. Psychology grad student Chandler McDaniel says phobias can start from an early age and can stem from a bad experience. These irrational fears can also continue well on into adulthood and make daily life for a person incredibly difficult.
Phobias are an irrational fear that can be triggered by various factors rooted in anxiety.
So I, along with so many people, are absolutely terrified of these guys. I found them in my shoe. I've been stung by one. I've actually been sent to the hospital because of one of these guys. But actually, these guys do so much for the environment other than just sit in our shoes and wait to sting us.
In fact, most insects, like any other animal, simply want to eat, mate, and actually don't want to bother you at all. And if someone is stung or bitten, it is almost 100% the human's fault. Insect Adventure employee and caretaker Lizzie Van Ert says bugs are the human race's best friend and are needed to maintain a healthy ecosystem.
And decomposers like beetles and flies take care of course, any kind of decomposing corpses, animal corpses, anything that is left fallen onto the ground. So without that, people wouldn't be able to take care of that themselves.
Other than just cleaning up after the environment, our 6 to 8-legged friends are also saving us quite a bit of money.
Same with pollinators. If people were just left up to do all that work themselves, it would take $85 billion a year to do that, which is just not possible. And for these animals, they do this on instinct. They take care of everything for us. They help the environment, they help the planet, they help us, so we really need them around.
So, the next time you find an uninvited guest in your house, be sure to let them back outside instead of giving them the boot. For Pete's Corner, I'm Angel Schwartz.
Thanks, Angel. I had no idea that bugs were so helpful. Now, this is a spooky season full of ghosts and ghouls, but Daniel Norman is going to take us through another fear that doesn't involve things that go bump in the night.
Acrophobia, or the fear of heights, is a phobia that affects 3 to 5% of Americans, according to LiveScience.com, making it one of the most common phobias in the country. When faced with heights, a person with acrophobia may experience panic, shaking, sweating, and a higher heart rate. A person with a fear of heights may often also experience dread, even at just the thought of heights. There is a range of severity to these symptoms, with some people completely paralyzed with fear at the thought of heights, or some, like myself, who merely experience some level of these symptoms. Aaron Stevenson says while his fear of heights is not severe, it has affected him in some ways through his life.
It stopped me from climbing, for the most part. Otherwise, I think, generally speaking, if I'm on a higher floor in a higher class, I generally just avoid windows for the most part.
These reactions to heights aren't uncommon in people with acrophobia, though there are many different reactions. The fear of heights can be instinctive or originate from a specific event, and Avery Schnorr says that she has a good idea of when her fear of heights began.
Like there's this ride at Six Flags where you take a parachute up really, really high, and I got stuck up there one time because I was so light, and they had to like call maintenance and come get me. So I think that's where it started.
Even as little as one story up, as here on the Student Union balcony, many people may experience the symptoms of acrophobia. However, many people have come up with creative ways to make sure that they can carry on with their everyday life.
It's gonna sound lame, but I like chew gum usually. Obviously, just don't look down.
Just try not to look at the ground, or like try not to look at how high you are. I think that is the biggest help. Yeah.
So the next time you find yourself up high and start to sweat and panic, don't forget to just close your eyes and especially remember, don't look down. For Pete's Corner, I'm Dan Norman.
Thanks, Daniel, for the harrowing report. Now, I know that that's my biggest fear, so stay tuned, and up next we might go through some of yours. Stay with us on Pete's Corner.
I want to show you something. This is the money we could save by switching from fresh packed California crushed tomatoes to concentrated tomato paste.
I want to show you something too. I got a new door. Go take a look at it.
Nobody uses better ingredients than Little Caesars, like fresh-packed California crushed tomatoes. Pick up a large, deep dish for just $8.
Pizza, pizza.
Introducing Lincoln Black Label at Diffie Ford Lincoln. Designed to impress those with impeccable taste, Lincoln Black Label features a collection of interior themes and a host of exclusive membership privileges inspired by attention to detail and a love of automobiles. With Lincoln Black Label, you'll enjoy an extended premium maintenance plan that covers wear items or even remote vehicle delivery. Lincoln Black Label isn't about luxury ownership, it's about membership. Lincoln Black Label, exclusively at Diffie Ford Lincoln.
At ASAP Energy, our goal is to provide the best customer service for whatever our clients need.
My relationship with ASAP Energy came about in 2007. I was wanting to build a convenience store. I didn't know how to do it. I'd never been in the business. I just felt comfortable with Rick. And so I knew that I wanted to do business with a guy like that. Integrity, loyalty, and family. I would recommend that to anybody. Thanks for taking a chance on me.
At ASAP Energy, everything matters.
Where were you born? It's a question asked all the time. Because where you're from shapes who you are, inspires how you do things. And when that inspiration comes from a place this refreshing, this majestic, this... well, you get the idea. Coors Light, born in the Rockies.
Welcome back to Pete's Corner. Now, with spooky season upon us, let's take a look at what really keeps America up at night. Jacob Eischen has more.
The study included the categories of crime, government, environment, disasters, personal anxieties, and many others. The study shows a consistent trend of rising fear in the United States. This may be due to a trend called mean world syndrome, the phenomenon of mass media creating a belief that the world is more dangerous than it really is.
It's all there, it's up to the minute, what percentage of these people, and this is where I would ask, are spending, how much time on Facebook, actually just seeing all of these stories.
Facebook's reach is astonishing to say the least, as their audience continues to grow, and with violence-related content being a norm on feeds, it is no wonder that citizens are more scared than ever before. According to this Cambridge study, the fear of heights falls in at 41st. Americans today are more afraid of having a straw in their coffee. As of the 2016 study, not a single environmental fear broke the top 10. In 2017, 4 of the top 10 fears were environmental, and in 2018, the top 10 is now half environmental fears. With the pollution of rivers, oceans, and lakes coming in at number 2, and the pollution of drinking water coming in at number 3, and with projects like the ocean cleanup, the solution may be on its way.
But the thing to remember in times like these is that there have always been times like these.
For Pete's Corner, I'm Jacob Eischen.
With fears like that, I might have to change my Halloween costume for the year. Now, the next fear we're going to take a look at is something that we just can't control. Riley Zerby has a way to help control that fear.
You're studying for an exam that is the next day. You know this exam could determine the rest of your semester. There is fear building up in your head and causing you to sweat. That fear is anxiety. Anxiety is the feeling of worry or nervousness, typically about an event or something with an uncertain outcome. Many people deal with anxiety and can cause serious problems. Therapist Dalia Poe is a licensed counselor who speaks with many people that have a hard time with anxiety.
Different ways that anxiety can come about would be environmental factors. So what's going on around you? Do you have a lot of homework? Do you have a lot of assignments coming up? Do you have test papers?
Anxiety can also cause serious problems with the human body.
Anxiety can cause physiological symptoms as well. It can make it hard to sleep at night. It can make you not want to eat. It can cause you to feel tired. And it can also mirror a lot of symptoms that would also be present with depression.
Anxiety can get really scary for some people, but there may be a way to help control it. Oklahoma State University has a pet service organization called Pete's Pet Posse. With this little fella sitting on my lap, he's actually helping me with my anxiety, which is being on camera itself. This little guy's handler, Carol Jones, has been a witness of how much love and joy these service pets have brought to people who have problems with anxiety.
Gives them just a little time of feeling good. You know, it's just a break from whatever the crisis is. So, yeah, it de-escalates a lot of problems. The dogs just give love, and everybody needs that.
So if you're ever having a tough time with the fear of anxiety, such as worrying about an exam, a furry little guy may help you out. For Pete's Corner, this is Riley Zerby.
Thanks, Riley. Maybe a little furry buddy could help me curb my anxiety. Now, have you ever wondered what happened to those monsters under your bed? Smokey Solis has the answer you're looking for.
For hundreds of years, there has been lore behind monsters. Monsters in the woods, monsters in the water, monsters under the bed, monsters everywhere. But where did they come from, and how do they shape our fears? There's not an exact date to when the lore of monsters began, but time can show us that there has been evidence of legends and myths throughout history. Monsters come in many forms, like the Greek Cyclops or the Chimera, Frankenstein, vampires, and werewolves, or coming a little closer to home, like the Chupacabra, the Boogeyman, or the Skunk Ape. The truth is, myths of monsters have been passed down from parents to children for years.
The first written story we have on record is the Epic of Gilgamesh, which features the protagonist fighting the monster known as Humbaba, which is the guardian of the forest. And with monsters in literature, it's always a fear of something from the outside, and this guardian represents the unknown from the forest. It's kind of the culmination of their fears of a dark forest. And monsters have been featured in mythology through all time and all cultures.
It seems as though that we're obsessed with a... Did you hear that? Anyways, obsessed with the idea that there's something more than just us. With ghost stories and mythical creatures, who knows what's actually out there?
Oftentimes, monsters allow us to externalize the unknown or personify our fears into something other than us. Many times, existentialist philosophers talk about the transformative power of death and how we are beings that know that we are mortal, we know that we will die, and that causes us anxiety. So rather than think of death as something internal, we put it into a monster, or we personify it in some external form.
You may think that something's lurking in the dark, waiting to snatch you up. But just remember, it may be just your imagination. For Pete's Corner, I'm Smokey Solis.
Well, I'll be checking under my bed tonight for sure. Thanks, Smokey. Now, when we come back from our break, we're going to go through 2 more fears that could help you get through the spooky season.
Toy Department at Homeland is Oklahoma's headquarters for party trays. Enjoy the time with family and friends at your next event, and let your neighborhood Homeland create the perfect fruit, deli, or cheese tray for you. The party planners at Homeland will help you choose the perfect party food, sized just right for your guests. Call us, stop in, or order online, and we'll make it ready for pickup on your schedule. Make your next party special with a party tray from your neighborhood Homeland.
Good to be home, Homeland.
Love these things. Hilarious. Sorry, force of habit.
As long as you are you, it's Miller time.
Hi, it's Sam at Louis Grill and Bar, here to introduce our new menu items from south of the border. Come try our new poblano chicken tacos, or the ever-popular sriracha shrimp tacos. At Louis, where you come for the food, but stay for the fun.
It's hard to imagine my life before her, or a day without her. So much of what I take for granted simply wouldn't exist. She is the force that holds our life together. She is my everything, the center of my universe, from Forevermark. The diamond, the promise. Available at Lewis Jewelers.
I'm Randy Heights with 1077 The Franchise, and let me tell you about the HCG diet from New Leaf Wellness and what it's meant to me. Over the last year, I've dropped 90 pounds, and this has been a lifesaver, guys. I'm in a wheelchair, so I can't always get to the gym, and what's been incredible about this diet, when I can't work out, I still lose the weight. 90 pounds in a year is a lot for anyone, but for me, it's been a miracle. Why don't you give New Leaf Wellness Centers a call and see if they can't help you with a free consultation, or go online at newleafcenters.com.
Welcome back to this spooky episode of Pete's Corner. Now, have you ever witnessed something that you thought could be a ghost? Well, you're not the only one. Tara Christopher is on the case.
Most OSU Greek life members' worst fears include pumping fines, paying their dues late, and living in a house with 70 other people. For the men of Phi Delta Theta, they fear something much spookier than any of these things. This is because they have an unwanted visitor lurking the halls of their fraternity house. She's known as the ghost of Alpha Chi Annie. Legend says that Annie was a freshman Alpha Chi in the 1970s who hanged herself in one of the closets for some unknown reason. Today, Phi Delta now occupies Alpha Chi's old house where Annie ended her life. But there's more to the myth that lingers in the Greek community. Not only does Annie haunt Phi Delta Theta's fraternity house, but Alpha Chi Omegas believe that her spirit now roams the halls of their sorority house. Alpha Chi sophomore Cameron Martinez shares her experiences with the ghost.
We were in my room and we were standing across the room, and we have closets on the other side, and there was a poster board and a roll of tulle that came falling out of the top of the closet.
Alpha Chis have many theories about Annie from the 70s that they still believe today.
The legend says that if you touch these letters on the 3rd floor of Alpha Chi, then Annie just might make you her next victim.
So now the question these sorority and fraternity members want to know is if ghosts really exist or if the fear is all in their heads. Paranormal investigator Joe Nickel describes his findings of ghostly existence after years of investigation.
Not only have I never found a single case that I thought was proof of a ghost, neither has science.
If you still choose to believe in ghosts, then know that you're not alone. Experts believe ghosts are the most common paranormal belief in the world, and as many as half of all Americans believe in them. In the end, it's up to you to determine if ghosts are made up or if science doesn't have the technology to detect them. But if you still choose to be scared, then science says it's all in your head. For Pete's Corner, I'm Tara Christopher.
Science may say they're fake, but these paranormal activity movies definitely think they're real. Thanks, Tara. Now, it may be snakes, spiders, or anything that we would have mentioned in this episode as one of your main fears in life, but there's one fear that keeps Oklahoma State students up at night. Devin Wilbur is taking a look at the legend of the Morrill Hall Steps.
Some people are scared of heights, some people are scared of snakes, other people are scared of spiders, and some are even scared of fear itself. But what is automotonophobia? It is the fear of inanimate objects. No one knows this fear better than the students here at Oklahoma State University. Whether you've heard it from your family, a friend, or some other random kid yelling at you before you went up, every student here at OSU has had the same similar fear of a certain building on campus. I am talking about the steps of Morrill Hall.
I would never walk up these steps at all.
As the story goes, those who climb up the steps of Morrill Hall are doomed not to graduate on time. The building was originally built in 1906, but was burned down in 1915 when a candle was left on the top floor of the building. Almost all was lost except for the outer exterior of the building and the steps. According to some historians, some believe the building should be knocked down with fear that the building may have been cursed. The building was rebuilt instead, keeping the original exterior, and from then on out, for generations, the story of the cursed steps of Morrill has been passed down from one generation to the next. No one quite knows for sure, but somehow throughout time, the curse has been twisted by people to where it now affects graduation. And from there, it has spread like a wildfire. But now, in recent years, the fear of these steps has diminished amongst students, leaving one question still unanswered. Do the students at Oklahoma State still fear the steps of Morrill Hall?
Yes, I do believe in the curse.
No.
Yeah.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
No.
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 I do believe in the curse.
No.
It's just a curse, man. You don't mess with bad juju.
No, because that's silly.
It's not silly.
No, I gotta go with no too. They're just stairs.
Bad
They're
vibes.
literally
Bad
stairs.
vibes on the stairs.
No matter what side of the line you find yourself on, if you are superstitious and careful, or a risk taker and don't care about the supernatural, one thing is still for certain. The tale of the Morrill Hall steps remains live and well, as students still caution one another and are told a story well over a century old, keeping alive one of the longest legends and fears at Oklahoma State University. For Pete's Corner, I'm Devin Wilbur.
Thanks, Devin, for shedding light on something that needs to be brought up at Oklahoma State, and I'm not taking my chances on those steps anytime soon. Now that concludes this spooky episode for Pete's Corner. I'm Savannah Goatcher, and have a happy Halloween.